Hi, welcome back to the Event House channel, your home for all things hospitality. I'm your host, Jill Goldfine, and today I am here to talk with David DeLorenzo, who specializes in hospitality insurance, specifically for bars and restaurants. You're going to love his passion for what he does and marrying those two industries. So let's get started. Well, hi, Delo. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Yoda is coming right out of your neck, but I see you brought him to work today, and I love your office mate. So glad that Yoda could join us too. I'm so excited to chat with you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Do or do not. There is no try. So he hangs out with me every day here. I'm a big Star Wars nerd on top of the other stuff we'll talk about. So
Okay. Well, that'll a lot of people relate to that as well, I'm sure. Um, Dilo, tell me a little bit to share with our audience about your background in hospitality.
yeah, so I'm a veteran of the music business, which ended up turning into the hospitality business in the essence of I had to find my own niche within that business. And albeit during the course of my career so far, I have owned 13 restaurants. I don't think owning a restaurant was for me. It's a lot of work, and the people that run and own restaurants, they work a
Oh,
lot harder than
yeah.
I do, and mad respect for them. I understand that. So
Very high risk too.
yeah, all the above. I've lost more money than I've made in that industry. So and that's okay. I mean, that money is paid for education and for a learning experience for me to be better at my craft, which is insurance for restaurants. And, nobody really just jumps out of, working with class A record artists like Aerosmith and Van Halen and says, "Hey, I'm going to get into insurance." But that was the life I was destined to go by, I guess, because it was part of a family business at the time that I have now, bought a decade ago and have taken over. So been doing insurance for 23 years. I've specialized, I specialize in bars and restaurants. I bought the title bar and restaurant insurance.com 20 years ago. And I just thoroughly enjoy the ability to live my passion, be who I am, and know that those people are doing the same thing. And so there's a great interconnectivity of energy of artists, of what they do, and me being able to provide them with a service that they have to have anyways, but from somebody that authentically understands their business and really cares about it. I just
Oh,
came from a
yeah.
meeting of a place that's been around for 30 years, and they're like, wow, we haven't had a different agent for 30 years, and we feel like this sense of new life coming into us because of your energy and your passion.
You clearly have your finger on the pulse of the insurance business, but also very well versed in the restaurant and bar business. So that as a segue to my next question is what kinds of trends are you seeing in 2023 so far with your clients, your restaurant and bar clients?
Yeah, so we're seeing we're seeing a need and a necessity for implementation on quicker and better training practices. And for many reasons. When it relates to insurance, you want to make sure that your people are trained in the art of what it is that they are providing, not just for the customer, but for their co-employees and other aspects for the living organism of the restaurant itself. So when I say that, it's like, hey, after you mop the floor, are you putting the signs up, or are you making sure it's dry? Hey, are you, when you're cutting with a very sharp knife, are you using non-cut gloves? Are you administering the tips of the trade and the training that you supposedly had gotten or learned about alcohol servants to, and over servants, stuff like that? So there's just a huge necessity still for that training, because you're having a newer, labor market start to, come in, and we have a very litigious society. So
Yes.
that's another trend that I'm seeing. Is I'm seeing a lot more of this social these social verdicts, where people are like, maybe a claim that was 100,000, 5, 6 years ago is 400,000 now, because of this social justice that's going on. And these, people that are sitting on a jury that don't know anything about the hospitality industry or how hard it is to navigate or what to do, or just awarding these atrocious sums of money for something that was purely accidental. So
Right.
those are two of the biggest trends that I'm seeing right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Um, and as far you mentioned all the workers, tell me about how your clients are managing employee turnover and filling positions.
Yeah,
That every time you get someone new in the door, you got to start the training all over again.
no, you do. And I have I've gotten I've gotten to become friendly with technology now. And as a middle-aged man, it's like, oh wow, more technology. But if you really dial down into it and understand that it can be very helpful, and you take the time, or you allow those within the tech field. Sorry, I'm messing with my camera here. If you take the time to deal with those in the tech field, you can find that it can be a very beneficial tool within your system. And once you figure that out and utilize it, it can be used over and over, therefore cutting your cost up to 50%, and not having to reinvent the wheel every time, not to have all paper and stuff like that. And there's apps that are coming out, and I'm part of one where, people can sign up for these apps, and they can go through and they can learn the drink menu, the food menu, they can learn all this stuff before they even step foot on the premise, you
Oh,
know?
wow.
Yeah, so the app is called Sinatra, and they found me, and I was able to introduce them to insurance companies because, again, what do insurance companies want to do? They want to make money off a premium, but if they're paying for losses due to accidents, then that eats away the premium real quick. A $10,000 premium on a restaurant is, it's basically like gambling for them, because most claims are not 10 grand. They're 30, 40, 50 grand nowadays, with all the social justice and all that stuff that goes on. Social inflation is what they call it. And so these apps and this technology for training and all these things, when these carriers or these people see it, they want to make it their own to help their bottom line, but also help the restaurant's bottom line in efficiency. So I think it's a good symbiotic relationship. It's just a matter of which one's going to be the next, quote unquote, I'll use the term loosely, but like the next Facebook of the restaurant industry to help all the restaurants, or the next Toast. Toast is very popular right now as far as POS systems, because of what they do and how they do it and how they make you interlock everything in together. So that's a big one there.
You're based in Arizona, so you're licensed in Arizona. Are there other companies like yours in other states? Could you refer anybody to other
We have
brokers?
a national a network of people such as myself. I talk to the guys, they happen to be all men. Go figure, insurance industry. It's usually, fat old white men. But no, these guys are pretty cool. So we do have a network of other agents out in other aspects of the country where, I understand Arizona law, some of the surrounding states I'll work with, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, stuff like that. But I do have agents that I trust, and we, like just today, I got a thing through my website for an axe throwing place in Georgia. I don't have the time for it, nor do I
Right.
want to kind of get into the complications of something that's so far removed from me being able to actually get out there real quick and understand what it's about. So
Yeah.
I have a person in Florida that's able to handle all that. So, that's the long answer to your question. But yes, there's
Yeah,
a
but a
cool
good referral
network of,
network. That's so
yeah,
important.
and a specialist in our industry that just, primarily just do all hospitality, because that segment alone just by itself is huge.
Right.
I
Right.
don't do construction, I don't do, car dealerships or any of that other stuff, because it just comes with a whole other set of problems and exclusion language and things that I don't have the time to research or study. I'll stay focused on what I love. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for joining me here today. I appreciate it. And I'm going to put your contact information up on the screen so people can reach out either to you in Arizona or to you for some referrals around the
Yeah.
country.
Anybody that needs help, happy to help them. Even if I'm not the one, taking care of them personally, I'll make sure they get taken care of.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dilo.
Yeah. Thank you.